Her name is Emily. She's 29 years old. She saved for this trip for 2 years, and she has just walked into a tiny restaurant in Kyoto's Gion district, still wearing the sneakers she wore on her 12-hour flight. The owner is 63. She's run this restaurant for 31 years. She doesn't say a word. She just glances down once at the tatami mat under Emily's shoes, then back up and smiles like nothing happened. Nothing happened as far as Emily knows. She'll eat her meal, leave a tip that will quietly embarrass the staff, bow on her way out because she saw it in a movie once, and post a 5-star review calling it so authentic. She will never find out what she did wrong. Neither will the next tourist, or the one after that. Here's the strange part. Right now, Japan is in the middle of its biggest tourism boom in history. Over 42 million visitors last year alone. And moments like Emily's are happening by the thousands every single day. Quiet, polite, completely invisible to the person causing them. Today we're translating that silence. 7 habits that feel completely normal where you're from. And land is genuinely shocking here, starting with exactly what Emily did wrong. 1. The shoe line. In Japan, there's an invisible boundary between the outside world and everything else, and it's stricter than almost any tourist expects. It's not just homes, it's traditional restaurants, ryokan inns, temples, some clinics, some schools. The line is usually a small step called the genkan, where you swap your shoes for slippers. But tatami is a stricter rule inside the rule. No shoes, no slippers, not even socks with holes. Bare feet or clean socks only. Why does this matter so much? Tatami is woven from rush grass. It absorbs everything. Oil, dirt, moisture, and once it does, it's expensive and labor-intensive to replace. Walking on it in shoes isn't just against the rules. To the person who has to maintain that floor, it reads as a small act of carelessness towards something they take real pride in. Emily never got told. You just did. 2. The bath rule. Public bathing, onsen and sento, is one of the most loved parts of Japanese culture. It's also where foreigners cause the fastest, quietest offense. The rule is simple, and it is not optional. You wash your entire body thoroughly at the shower stations before you ever step into the shared soaking tub. Sit on the little stool. Use the soap. Rinse until there's nothing left. Only then do you enter the water. Here's why it's non-negotiable. That tub isn't refreshed for each guest. It's shared, sometimes by dozens of people in a single evening. The bath is for warming and relaxing, not for washing. Skip the shower stations, and you're not just breaking a rule. You're bathing in water that other people are about to share with you, unwashed. One more thing, that little towel you're handed, it never touches the water. Fold it and set it on your head. 3. The sound of your own nose. This is the one that breaks people's brains a little. In most Western countries, blowing your nose is basic hygiene. In Japan, doing it loudly, especially at a table or on a train, reads as startling, even a little unhygienic, in the other direction. The sound and the visibility of it is what lands wrong, not the act itself. So what do Japanese people do instead? They sniffle, repeatedly, sometimes for an entire train ride. To Western ears, that sounds backwards. Isn't blowing your nose the polite move? But the underlying value isn't about germs. It's about meiwaku, not imposing your bodily functions on the people around you. If you truly have to blow your nose, the move is to excuse yourself to a restroom, quietly, and come back like nothing happened. Nobody will say anything if you get it wrong. They'll just feel it. Quick pause, because the next one surprises people who've lived in Japan for years, not just first-time visitors. It doesn't involve your hands, your feet, or your table manners. It involves how you smell. 4. Sumehara. There's a word in Japan you won't find in most guidebooks. Sumehara. It's short for smell harassment, a real, recognized concept, serious enough that some companies now train employees on it the same way they'd train on other forms of workplace harassment. Sumehara isn't really about body odor, though that's part of it. It's about strong perfume, heavy cologne, cigarette smoke clinging to a jacket, even fabric softener. Anything powerful enough to fill a small, shared space like a train car, an elevator, or a packed office, whether the people around you asked for it or not. The The countries that produce a lot of these products aren't always the countries where trains are standing room only for 45 minutes a day. That's the whole issue. What smells like getting ready for your day in a car commute culture can smell like an imposition in a train commute one. If you're heading to Japan, the guidance is simple. Go lighter than you think you need to. 5. What your chopsticks are secretly saying. 2 chopstick habits look completely harmless and are actually the most serious dining mistakes you can make in Japan. The first, sticking your chopsticks upright in a bowl of rice to rest them. At Japanese Buddhist funerals, a bowl of rice is left for the deceased with chopsticks standing straight up in it, echoing burning incense. Do the same thing at a dinner table, and you've unknowingly recreated a funeral offering in front of your host. The second is worse. Passing food directly from your chopsticks to someone else's, a natural move if you're trying to share. Mirrors kotsuage. The ritual after a cremation, where family members pass the bones of the deceased to each other with chopsticks before placing them in the urn. Neither of these is really about chopsticks. They're about what those specific movements mean to a culture that still associates them, viscerally, with death. The fix is simple. Rest your chopsticks flat on the little rest, tip down. To share food, put it on a plate, or offer the plate and let the other person take it themselves. 6. Eating on the move. You buy something delicious from a stall, takoyaki, a rice ball, a crepe, and start eating as you walk to the next spot. Completely normal in most of the world. In much of Japan, it reads as a little careless. The general expectation is you eat where you bought it, standing near the stall, or you sit down somewhere first. Walking and eating at the same time is seen as rushed, a bit messy, and slightly disrespectful to the food itself. Part of this is practical. Public trash cans are genuinely rare in Japan, so half-eaten food and wrappers have nowhere to go, which means walking and eating often becomes walking and littering, even by accident. Street food festivals are the exception. Everyone eats standing there because that's what the space is built for. Outside of that context, the safer move is simple. Find a bench or just stand still for 2 minutes. 7. The one that breaks every rule you just learned after 6 habits about staying quiet, staying clean, staying contained. Here's the twist. Walk into any ramen shop in Japan and you'll hear something that sounds like chaos. Dozens of people loudly, unmistakably slurping their noodles. In almost any other setting on this list, that volume would be the exact thing to avoid. Here, it's the opposite of rude. Slurping cools the noodles as they hit your mouth, pulls in air that carries the aroma of the broth, and this part surprises people most, is read as a genuine compliment to the chef. Silence over a bowl of ramen doesn't come across as polite. It comes across as, I don't love this. It got so associated with enjoyment that when a wave of tourists once complained the sound was too loud, Japanese media only half-jokingly coined a term for it, Sumehara, noodle harassment, not against the slurpers, against the people complaining about them, which tells you something. This was never really about noise or smell or shoes. It's about knowing which silence is respect and which silence is actually rude. Emily is home now. She's unpacking, already scrolling flights for her next trip, still completely unaware of the tatami mat, the shoes, the 2 seconds of silence from a restaurant owner who decided quietly to let it go. That's the real theme running under all 7 of these. Japan has packed roughly 123 million people into a country smaller than California and built consideration into habits so small most people never think to call them rules. You know them now. Emily still doesn't. If you want to actually feel prepared instead of just informed, not just what to avoid, but how to move through Japan like you've already been there, that's coming in the next video. Subscribe so you don't miss it.